Issue 238. We start out with Knuckles high above Mobius in the Death Carrier, telling Kentavor that everything's loaded onto the escape pod so he's ready to go. He's asked if he has the prisoners, and says that Eggman conveniently escaped when he was getting the emeralds, but Zachary is unconscious. Shadow isn't showing up on any scans, but he's picking up something strange on the top deck that's tearing the ship apart. Tails sees Supersonic attacking Shadow with parts of the Death Carrier from a plane, and I had to click on the image to make it larger because Shadow's text was too tiny for me to read. Sonic shocks Shadow with some eye lasers, and with Knuckles commenting about another explosion, he says he has to launch the escape pod now. Tails says that he'll have to save Sonic himself, so I guess he didn't see that he's Supersonic. If he did, he would know 1, to stay away from him, and 2, that he can just fly to safety. I guess he's just assuming that he'll run out of power really soon. Eggman greets Shadow from behind as Sonic conveniently powers down from Superform right when Tails rescues him with a rope. Good thing, too, or else he would have attacked Tails in his violent rage. Out of nowhere, Shadow glows white and says that he chooses to save lives, not destroy planets. This is really sudden after he was blindly fighting to destroy the world for a while now and destroyed the entire Special Zone. And it's not like we saw Eggman insulting him all the time. Did it take that long for Sonic's messages to sink in? I mean, like, he didn't even get a speech from Amy. The story ends with him saying goodbye to Eggman like he does when he kills him in Shadow the Hedgehog. Would they have the guts to do that? Nope. In the next story, as Techno talks through a radio to Shortfuse trying to apologize to him, which she by all means should, the text box reveals that while Shortfuse was innocent of the robberies, the abductions on the other hand. Huh? The communication link cuts, and Techno says she's tracked his signal already, so they'll work this out together. I really want to know why he'd do all of this. I'm excited to see the answer here. Techno sees a chaos energy buildup in some mountains from seeing lightning coming from them, and realizes it's a trap. She gets a civilian away from what looks like the brain hat things that Eggman made people wear when he wanted to make them a part of a supercomputer. Techno says to the civilians that she has a gadget for everything, lampshading how overly convenient she is. And one quick stop to Metropolis later, she thinks about how Shortfuse has to be being controlled, referencing the fact that that's happened before, plenty of times. Then she wonders how that can happen since she had made his armor personally, and blames herself. Then she realizes these aren't her computers, and asks who connected these to the Eternity Ring. She asks what's going on since it's locked onto another dimension, and when Shortfuse attacks her, she uses a device to get him out of his armor. He's promptly confused, asking if she's alright, and the story ends with the Ring of Eternity sending them into it and vanishing. I've read multiple issues ahead at this point, and I still don't know how the story arc ends. This isn't going to be another Agatha witch cart situation, is it? Because it would really suck if the story arc was never resolved. This issue was by Ed Reynolds. The first story is about Sonic fortunately depowering from Supersonic just as Tails goes to rescue him in the plane, and out of complete nowhere, Shadow goes from threatening Sonic and Mobius to choosing to save lives and glowing white. This better have a better explanation, because so far the only reason I'm seeing for making him choose this is because he was good in the video games. This is why I hate Metalogic. Like, Metalogic by its own is alright, but it has to be accompanied with proper logic along with it, or it's just going to be sloppy writing like this. And the second story, after briefly misleading you into wondering if Shortfuse really did abduct people, reveals that Shortfuse's armor was being controlled with him being brainwashed so that he didn't remember a thing. As Techno uses a gadget to free him of the armor, and gets sucked into another dimension with him right afterwards. So, someone took over the Ring of Eternity? I guess so. Again, the Ring of Eternity became more of a liability after the whole Amy and Techno arc. It really would have been better off if it had been destroyed at this point, since it just sends them into dangerous places, or sends dangerous stuff out of it. As usual, I can't wait to see what happens next. I'm so invested in this comic that I literally type these reviews one after the other until my hands hurt and I have to force myself to take breaks. Though that's been the case with my reviews for a long time, but still. This might be the best Sonic comic I've read, as much respect as I have for Archie in theory. Though it's going to do something controversial later on in the comic, but I mean, we'll see if it's still good enough even after that. I feel like it's going to be. It's original enough. It has plenty of good concepts. Something I love about Fleetway is that it has plenty of minor villains, so that it has actual satisfying victories for the heroes regularly, instead of major villains who aren't allowed to be defeated permanently.